All right, a big news day. The Federal Trade Commission now suing to block Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Activision-Blizzard. We're joined by John Freeman, CFRA Vice President of Equity Research, for reaction on this. Good to see you, sir. Let's just give you a blank slate to begin. Your reaction to the FTC blocking this. Is this what you expected?
Yes, and I'm surprised that there was one. Apparently, it was 3-1. So there was actually a dissenter. I thought that's surprising. I mean, I'm a big fan of the free market, but the law is written such that it says, if you're a monopoly or if you have monopolistic power, you're not allowed to use that power to gain an unfair advantage in an adjacent or dependent market. It looks like that would be the case here. In fact, it's kind of the whole justification for the purchase. So, I think Microsoft, tried to gave it a good shot. They might be able to pull it off. Even now, they might be able to pull it off through appeals. But I don't know. I'm not surprised by the outcome, though, from the FTC's perspective.
John, what do you think the odds are that they are going to be able to pull it off through appeals? Because Microsoft's still remaining pretty confident. We heard from Activision-Blizzard CEO saying he is confident that this deal is still going to get done.
Right. Well, the thing is, though, you can't not show confidence, because then all kinds of other dominoes fall, and then it becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, I think. I don't know. Here's the thing. I think it's possible, but I don't know, maybe less than 50-50 possibility, I think. The thing that I look at, though, is should they do it? And I think $3 billion breakup fee would be a fine thing for Microsoft to do. I want them to focus on, the enterprise area. I have a strong buy on Microsoft. I think it's, a fantastic company, fantastic stock, well positioned for cloud migration, which, I think they should focus on and focus their acquisitions, there. They can get much better deals now, right, in the enterprise software space, in the cloud space, rather than the video game space, which they're a legitimate duopoly. So it's whatever acquisition they make there, any acquisition they make, there's going to get a lot of scrutiny.
Hey, John Pras here. I guess, from a gaming fan point of view, it's not really a monopoly when you have Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo sort of dominating the market. If Microsoft can effectively take Activision off the board, but then say, hey, we'll get to give games for 10 years, I feel like Microsoft's case is not that weak. And also, what if you have a consent decree that allows them to say, hey, Microsoft, you have to let these games go to the competitors for X number of years? Wouldn't that make it or resolve some of the issues?
It might. Certainly, I didn't think that they were going to be able to, pull this off without concessions. That I never really thought. They're going to have to make concessions if they want to pull it off. And certainly that Activision user, that Activision user base, the Call of Duty user base. I mean, I understand why they're interested in Activision, right? They want that Call of Duty user base. They're a couple 100 million, real-time 3D. It's basically a narrowly defined version of what we've been talking as the metaverse, right? So if they could generalize that, right, with other applications, wow, that would be a fantastic property to own, both content, technology, and user base. So I understand why they would want to do it. And at the same time, because it is effectively a duopoly for, living room consoles, right, non-mobile platforms, they have the way that I think it's written is, they have monopolistic power. So they don't have to have an absolute monopoly. At least that's, the interpretation I have been hearing. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I've been hearing.
Microsoft President Brad Smith saying we've been committed from day one to addressing competition concerns. He elaborated later about where they're going. Complete confidence in our case. Welcome the opportunity to present in court. John, you mentioned how you feel about Microsoft going forward. What's the investor story and the impact of Activision's side of this?
Oh, here's the thing. I don't think it's that bad an outcome, because Microsoft will have to pay, even if it's blocked, even if it's a regulatory block, they'll have to pay Activision $3 billion. Well, that's not much for Microsoft. They've got, net cash position of over 50 billion. But it would be really nice for Activision. I mean, it gives them a nice war chest for them to do acquisitions. Activision's always been a good acquirer of studios, acquiring, as a real nose for, what's up and coming, and, and being able to integrate it with the platform. I don't know, I believe that Activision would be perfectly fine and healthy, even if they don't get bought by Microsoft.
John Freeman, thank you so much, man.